On the outskirts of a small town, the Sterling supermarket stood as an unassuming beacon of convenience for the local community. Yet beneath its fluorescent lights and neatly stacked shelves, an unsettling energy lingered. An energy that would soon unravel the ordinary lives of its patrons. Emily, a college student seeking part-time work, was drawn to Sterling Supermarket by the allure of a paycheck. The store's manager, Mr. Thompson, hired her on the spot, his eyes holding a hint of weariness that seemed out of place in such a mundane setting. On Emily's first shift, Mr. Thompson provided a brief orientation, introducing her to the layout of the store and its various departments. As he led her through the dimly lit aisles, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision, disappearing when she turned to face them. The supermarket had an uncanny stillness that settled over it like a shroud. The hum of refrigerators and the distant chatter of shoppers seemed to echo in an empty void. Emily dismissed it as her imagination, chalking up her unease to the new environment. But as days turned into weeks, Emily's discomfort only deepened. Late nights brought strange occurrences, items falling off shelves, whispers that seemed to carry through the air, and a feeling of being followed down deserted aisles. During one particularly eerie evening, Emily was assigned to restock the shelves in the back corner of the store. As she worked, she caught sight of a figure in her peripheral vision, a shadowy form darting between the aisles. She spun around, her heart racing, but found nothing. The air seemed to thicken with an unspoken presence. Over time, Emily's co-workers began to share unsettling stories. Late at night, they claimed to hear faint footsteps echoing through the store, shelves shifting when no one was near, and cold spots that seemed to move with a purpose. Whispers of the supermarket's history began to circulate. According to local legend, the Sterling supermarket was built upon the site of an old cemetery, its foundations disrupting the resting place of many souls. Skeptical at first, Emily couldn't ignore the mounting evidence that something beyond the ordinary was afoot. One night, after closing time, Emily's curiosity got the best of her. Armed with a flashlight, she ventured into the supermarket's basement, an area usually off-limits to employees. The air was damp and a faint odor of decay hung in the air. As she explored the narrow corridors, Emily felt a chill that seemed to seep into her bones. In a forgotten corner of the basement, Emily stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Its walls were adorned with faded photographs of people, their eyes seeming to follow her every move. At the center of the room stood an old, weathered mirror, a mirror that seemed to hold a reflection of something other than Emily herself. As she gazed into the mirror, the faces in the photograph seemed to merge with her own reflection, distorting and contorting in a nightmarish dance. The air grew heavy with a sense of foreboding, and Emily felt as if the very walls were closing in on her. With a jolt, Emily tore her gaze away from the mirror and fled the basement, her heart pounding in her chest. The supermarket's stillness felt oppressive, the aisles taking on a suffocating quality. She knew that she had uncovered something beyond her understanding, something that defied rational explanation. In the days that followed, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that unseen eyes were upon her at all times. Sleep became elusive, haunted by dreams of faces pressed against the supermarket's windows, their expressions a mix of sorrow and accusation. Emily decided to confide in Mr. Thompson about her experiences. To her surprise, he didn't dismiss her claims. Instead, he shared a chilling revelation. The supermarket had become a haven for lost souls, their unrest perpetuated by the disruption of their resting place. Guided by Mr. Thompson's advice, Emily began researching methods to appease the restless spirits. Armed with incense and candles, she returned to the basement, determined to offer a form of solace to the trapped souls. As the incense smoke swirled through the chamber, Emily felt a shift in the air. The photographs seemed to come alive, their expressions softening as if touched by an unseen hand. The mirror's reflection seemed to waver, the distorted faces gradually returning to their normal state. When Emily emerged from the basement, she felt a sense of relief she hadn't experienced in weeks. The supermarket's aisles no longer felt oppressive, and the lingering shadows seemed to retreat. The faces that had haunted her dreams appeared to find a measure of peace. In the following weeks, the Sterling supermarket underwent a transformation. The eerie energy that had once enveloped it dissipated, replaced by a sense of calm. As Emily continued her work, she couldn't help but feel a connection to the souls she had encountered. The legend of the supermarket's haunted past remained, a story whispered among the locals. Yet Emily knew that sometimes the most chilling tales held a grain of truth. The Pineville supermarket stood at the heart of a peaceful suburban neighborhood, a familiar hub for residents to grab groceries and exchange friendly hellos. However, beneath the fluorescent lights and cheerful exterior, an unsettling presence lurked, waiting for the unsuspecting to uncover its secrets. Nora, a night owl and a college student, often found herself prowling the Pineville supermarket during the late hours, her studies demanding unconventional hours. The supermarket's late-night staff had grown accustomed to her presence, offering friendly nods as she roamed the aisles. One summer night, Nora entered the supermarket as usual. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a cold glow over the empty shelves. The familiar hum of the refrigerators seemed to echo in the stillness. As Nora strolled down the aisles, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was different tonight. As she moved through the store, a subtle unease settled over Nora. Shadows seemed to flicker at the edges of her vision, and a chill ran down her spine. She brushed off her discomfort, attributing it to fatigue and an overactive imagination. But as the night wore on, Nora's unease deepened. A faint whisper seemed to curl through the air, words too indistinct to comprehend. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end, and she felt as if unseen eyes were upon her. Nora decided to cut her shopping trip short, gathering her items and heading for the checkout counter. The cashier, a friendly woman named Sarah, greeted her with a warm smile. As Nora approached, she noticed a peculiar glint in Sarah's eyes, a glint that seemed to hold a secret. With a polite exchange of pleasantries, Sarah began scanning Nora's items. But as she did, her voice dropped to a hushed whisper, her words almost inaudible. "Beware the midnight checkout." Nora blinked, taken aback by the cryptic warning. Before she could ask for clarification, Sarah handed her the receipt and smiled once more, her eyes returning to their normal warmth. Confused and unsettled, Nora left the supermarket and made her way back home. The streetlights cast long shadows as she walked, and the echo of Sarah's warning replayed in her mind. What did it mean, and why had the cashier shared it with her? Unable to shake off her unease, Nora found herself returning to the Pineville supermarket in the following days. She picked up on subtle details that had previously escaped her notice, the way the shadows seemed to linger a bit too long, the odd flicker of lights, and the uncanny silence that permeated the store. As days turned into weeks, Nora's fascination with the mystery deepened. She began researching the supermarket's history, uncovering tales of a tragedy that had struck the building decades ago. A fire had ravaged the original structure, taking the lives of several employees who had been working the night shift. The more Nora learned, the more she felt a connection between the eerie occurrences and the restless souls said to haunt the supermarket. Determined to unravel the truth, she decided to spend a full night within the supermarket's walls, waiting for the midnight hour. On the chosen night, Nora armed herself with a notebook, flashlight, and a curious mixture of excitement and trepidation. She roamed the aisles, documenting her observations and trying to capture any unusual phenomenon on camera. As midnight approached, the supermarket seemed to hold its breath. Nora stationed herself near the checkout counters, her heart pounding in anticipation. The digital clock above the entrance ticked closer to midnight, the seconds echoing in the silence. And then it happened. A faint whisper filled the air, growing louder with each passing second. Words formed in the ethereal voice, a voice that seemed to carry the weight of the past. "Remember us. Help us." Nora's breath caught in her throat as she listened, her flashlight trembling in her hand. The supermarket's lights flickered, casting dancing shadows that seemed to come alive. Nora felt a presence that wasn't her own, enveloping her. Summoning her courage, Nora whispered back, "How can I help you?" The supermarket seemed to respond, the aisles stretching into a corridor of memory. Nora's flashlight illuminated figures that materialized before her, the spirits of those who had perished in the fire. Their faces held a mixture of sorrow and longing, their forms translucent yet tangible. Through their fragmented whispers, Nora pieced together their story. They sought closure, a release from the tragedy that bound them to the supermarket's walls. With each word she exchanged, the supermarket's energy grew stronger, a vortex of emotions that transcended time. As dawn broke, the spirit's presence began to fade. Nora felt a sense of peace settle over the supermarket, a peace she had never sensed before. The supermarket's lights steadied, and the shadows retreated, leaving behind an air of calm. In the days that followed, the Pineville supermarket seemed transformed. The once eerie atmosphere had given way to a more welcoming ambiance. The supermarket's staff and customers noticed the change, though none could fully explain it. Nora continued her visits, no longer haunted by the whispers and shadows. She had played a part in setting the trapped souls free, allowing them to find the peace they had long sought. And as she walked the aisles, she knew that sometimes the most ordinary places held the most extraordinary stories. In the heart of the bustling city, the Beacon Market reigned as a modern marvel of convenience and variety. Its towering shelves were laden with every imaginable product, and its bright lights beckoned shoppers from all walks of life. Yet beneath the glossy exterior, an enigmatic aura pervaded the store, an aura that would soon challenge the boundaries of reality. Alex, a skeptical journalist, stumbled upon a peculiar news article. Whispers of strange occurrences within Beacon Market had surfaced. Unexplained sounds, vanishing items, and shoppers reporting encounters with figures that seemed to melt into thin air. Intrigued, Alex saw an opportunity to delve into a story that might unravel the supernatural. Posing as a curious customer, Alex entered the Beacon Market one evening. The bright lights and lively chatter seemed to mask an underlying tension, a sense of anticipation that crackled in the air. As Alex roamed the aisles, surveying the seemingly mundane scene, a chill ran down their spine. In the frozen food section, Alex spotted a fleeting figure at the end of an aisle. It seemed to move with an otherworldly grace, its form shifting in and out of focus. Heart racing, Alex followed, flashlight in hand, determined to document any strange occurrence. The figure led Alex through a labyrinth of aisles, always staying just ahead. Shadows seemed to cling to its form, stretching and contorting in a dance that defied logic. With each turn, Alex's surroundings grew unfamiliar, the store's layout warping into something surreal. As the figure approached a seemingly dead-end aisle, it turned to face Alex. Its eyes held a wisdom that transcended time, and its voice echoed in Alex's mind, a voice that seemed to arise from the depths of the cosmos. "You seek answers, mortal?" Stunned and apprehensive, Alex nodded, words failing them. The figure's presence seemed to fill the aisle, its energy both ancient and all-encompassing. It revealed the history of Beacon Market, a history entwined with the fabric of the city itself. The market's foundation rested upon a nexus of reality, a crossroads of dimensions that allowed glimpses into realms beyond. Over time, the boundaries between the dimensions had grown thin, giving rise to unexplained phenomena. Shoppers had unwittingly stumbled upon fragments of alternate realities, brushing against the edges of the unknown. The figure, a guardian of these dimensions, had become a sentinel, guiding lost souls back to their rightful place. As the figure recounted tales of wandering spirits and intersecting worlds, Alex realized the enormity of what lay before them. The aisles of Beacon Market were no longer just shelves of products. They were portals to realms beyond imagination. With a flicker, the figure extended its hand, offering Alex a choice. Step through the aisle's end, and you will glimpse the truth. But be warned, the truths of other worlds can be both mesmerizing and maddening. Torn between curiosity and caution, Alex hesitated. The figure's eyes held an understanding that seemed to pierce through their thoughts. Fear not, for the path you choose shapes the tale you tell. Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped through the end of the aisle. The world around them shimmered and shifted, and suddenly they found themselves in a city that mirrored their own yet bore strange, distorted features. Familiar faces passed by, their gazes distant and vacant. Amid the chaos, Alex spotted the figure once more. It approached with an air of melancholy, its form flickering between reality and illusion. "This is a realm of lost souls," the figure explained. "Realities intertwine, and those who become unmoored from their truths end up here, trapped in a labyrinth of confusion." Witnessing the plight of the lost souls, Alex understood the figure's purpose. They had become a harbinger of guidance, helping souls find their way back to their own dimensions. With the figure's guidance, Alex traversed the eerie streets, encountering fragmented memories and echoes of lives left behind. As the boundary between dimensions blurred once more, Alex found themselves back in the beacon market. The figure's presence lingered, a whisper of a truth too vast to fully comprehend. The aisles seemed to have taken on a new depth, each product a doorway to stories untold. As Alex left the market, they knew they had been granted a glimpse into a reality beyond their own. The stories of the beacon market would forever hold a deeper meaning, a testament to the infinite tapestry of existence that existed just beyond the threshold of ordinary perception.